I like books that bring me pain, and that's why I'm choosing to read this book. Maybe this will just be an anime recommendations channel at this point. This book, I'm not gonna explain myself. I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to. I love all your DMs that tell me that you're starting Attack on Titan or reading it. Like, it makes me feel like I finally did something good in this world, you know? The sun is like moving a lot, so if the lighting changes like 300 times in this video, that's why. Anyway, welcome to my June TBR. I don't do TBRs. If you've been following me for some time, you know that TBRs aren't my thing. I don't like being held down to anything. I don't like being held accountable because I am such a mood reader. My books change just like that. The last TBR video I did was like in December, and I have some books that I like still haven't finished on there. So why am I doing one this month? It's because I'm hosting the Studio Ghibli Readathon. I'll link the announcement video down below if you're interested. The Studio Ghibli Readathon is super fun. It's hosted by me and some of my favorite people. We are reading books abiding to certain prompts by the movies. My movie is The Wind Rises, which is the best Ghibli movie. I've seen all of them, I can say. As of this morning, we have over 150 members in our Discord, which is crazy. I didn't think you guys would be this excited as I am. And then I have one secret TBR video that has to do with manga, so I won't be revealing what books I'll be reading in there, but it's just exciting. And for the Studio Ghibli Readathon, every single book I'm choosing to read is related to Pride because it's Pride Month. Pride Month is amazing. I do read books obviously related to Pride all year round, but I thought it would be nice to just focus on it and have my TBR, you know, special to that because of the month. Hi, future Nidhi here. Just gonna interrupt and say that I'm trying to make a playlist with all the Studio Ghibli videos you guys have published. I have looked through the hashtag, which is Read Ghibli and Studio Ghibli Readathon. I've reposted as many images as I can on my Instagram story, but I'm also trying to make a YouTube playlist. It's linked down below, but if your video is not in there, please DM me on or Discord me or like on Twitter or something. Like, I want your video to be in there. It genuinely brings me so much happiness. Another thing that brings me happiness is all of your bullet journal spreads. I'm not creative in like any way, shape, or form, so seeing how you use your creativity to create these like monthly journal spreads are like the highlight of my month. They've made me so happy. I've shown some on the screen right now, and they're literally stunning, visually perfect. If you create a video and it's not in that playlist, please let me know. I'd love to add it. I hate knowing a lot about books before I read them. That's just not the kind of reader I am. I like being surprised. So why have you chosen to click on this video? I don't know, because I literally could not offer you any information, but we're gonna try anyway. Before I get into those books though, I do want to say I've been recently monetized on YouTube, which is amazing. So if you saw an ad before this video, that's why. I really appreciate it if you do watch them. Monetization was never the goal or a dream or even a possibility to me. Like, I've said this since the beginning of my channel. Even if 10 or 100 people watch my videos, like, I'm still making it for you guys. I still do it because I love to do it. I love reading. I love all that YouTube brings me. It's just surreal. It's crazy. It's of course thanks to you. I feel like you know how much I love you, but like, do you really know how much I love you? Because I just... yeah. Before I get into the books I want to read, I do want to let you know that the money I do make from this video, which is little to nothing, will be donated to certain organizations. If you think my channel is going to be a channel where we don't talk about political, humanitarian, social, economic issues, that's just not the type of person I am, and that's not what my channel is going to be. These issues affect everyone. These events are affecting millions of people, and if I have any means of a platform of any way to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it. Politics is super special and super important to me. It's something I'm educated, passionate, and would love to learn more about always. Therefore, I'm not going to shy away from talking about it on my platform. You might have seen on my Twitter, you might have seen on my Instagram, I've been sharing links a lot and a lot of educational posts on Palestine. The Palestinian struggle should not be an awkward conversation. This conflict has been going on for decades. I think we can all agree that the events taking there are a criminal and inhumane, and we should all agree that ethnic cleansing, genocide, and apartheid states are the war crimes that we've learned about. You can talk about both sides of Israel and Palestine like they're equal, but they're not. One has an army and one does not. When the right to safety and the right to your home is being deprived of you, it's not okay, and I encourage all of you to be educated about it. I put links down below in donation centers and cards and info stuff that I would really appreciate if you could donate or spend some of your time reading. Another thing I want to talk about is the COVID-19 crisis in India. COVID-19 is now becoming a third world crisis as first world countries have vaccines and other medical needs, and these third world countries just don't have the opportunity to have them and save their people. Having family in India, it is very personal for me and it's very scary, and if you can ask me how I feel, I don't know how I feel, and I have people very close to me that have family there that have been directly affected by the COVID-19 crisis, and it is just unimaginable. So I encourage you again to look at the links down below, and if you have the means to donate and help them, please do, and please read up on it as well. I read somewhere that we are past the raise awareness stage of every issue, and I agree with that because there's a difference between active and passive support. If legislation's not being passed, if people aren't being held accountable, then nothing's gonna happen. There's no solution that's gonna be provided. So I just like to conclude and say that any money I do get from this video, which again is not much, but anything at all, will be donated to the organizations down below, and I encourage you to donate as well and read up on it. Alright, with that being said, I will now get into my June TBR. For my June TBR, I kept it pretty light, but all of these prompts could apply to the Studio Ghibli Readathon. Therefore, if I were to double dip, triple dip, or quadruple dip, at least the prompts will be done. So the movie, as I've said before, I've chosen is The Wind Rises. The Wind Rises is my favorite Ghibli movie. It is so good. To its core, I believe The Wind Rises is a romance movie, and the hopeless romantic in me will not live it down. So the book that applies for all three of these prompts is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I've been meaning to read Strange the Dreamer since I first heard of BookTube in 2017. It's such a staple in the YA community. Strange the Dreamer, from what I understand, follows this guy named Laszlo Strange who works at a library, and then he stumbles across a world and some people and has to do stuff. Again, I don't know much about it, but it seems so beautiful and so magical, and the covers are just gorgeous, and Laini Taylor seems like an author right up my alley that I just need to get on. So although that one book does apply to all three of those prompts, I still have more books I want to read in June, and I'm trying to get bingo on the big bingo board we have there, so these books hopefully will apply there. The second book I want to read is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. If you've been following my channel, you know that Victoria Schwab is one of my favorite authors of all time. From what I understand, it follows this girl named Addie who makes a deal with the devil that allows her to live forever, and then we just follow her life. It does take place in later time periods, which aren't really my thing, but I don't really care because it's Victoria Schwab. The next book I want to read is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. I read The Mothers by Britt Bennett in March for the Feminist AF book club. That was with Rachel from Reads with Rachel and Chanel from Chanel Time, and it was such a wonderful discussion. I don't remember the exact rating I gave it. It was either 4 or 5 stars. I'll link my Goodreads down below if you're curious. The Vanishing Half is Britt Bennett's other book, and the premise is so interesting. It follows these twins that are both people of color, but one of them chooses to not embrace her ethnicity and the other chooses to fully embrace it. I feel like this book sparked a lot of important conversations, one being colorism, another on white passing people, and I find it so interesting to read books about twins, being a twin myself. I just feel more inclined to read them. I just feel like we have already connected as a book and human, even though it's not really possible, but you know, twins, I don't know. The next 2 books I want to read are also by Victoria Schwab, and that is Vicious and Vengeful. I read Vicious in 8th grade and I thought it was peak fiction. I gave it 5 stars, one of my favorite books of all time. Since then, I remember absolutely nothing about it. I know it follows this guy named Victor Vale and then another guy who I forget the name of, and they have low-key a rivalry, but at the same time they had a friendship, and I know it has to do with superpowers and science fiction, but then again they meet other characters. I'm being super vague, and that is because I went into it the first time knowing absolutely nothing, and it blew me away because I was not the target audience for it. It's not a book I'd usually pick up. It's quite interesting when books do that to you. The sequel has been out for ever at this point, so I just need to get on it and read it. And the last big book I'll be reading is A Little Life. This book, I'm not gonna explain myself. I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to. I really don't need to explain myself. I like books that bring me pain, and that's why I'm choosing to read this book. Hi, future Nidhi here again, and I'm just gonna interrupt and say that I forgot to mention the most important book I'm gonna be reading this month, and that is Howl's Moving Castle, which is the group book for the Studio Ghibli Readathon. I don't know why I didn't mention this. It's probably because Howl's Moving Castle is not one of my favorite Ghibli movies. I do think it's overhyped. I know that's very much an unpopular opinion, and my heart does hurt when I say that, but I will rewatch it and hopefully we'll like it better. But yeah, that's the group book. I hope you can join us. The live show right now is on July 2nd. If that changes, it'll be in the Discord. Yeah, love you guys. Gonna talk about manga now. And lastly, what I will be reading is Attack on Titan by Hajime Isayama. Attack on Titan is my favorite thing ever. If you don't follow me on my Instagram or Twitter, you probably don't know this, but anime is a big part of my life. I say this in every video where I talk about anime, but I do have an Annie list. I'll link it down below. You can choose to follow me and see my reviews if you'd like. And Attack on Titan is my favorite anime. I've seen it 5 times. I've already read the manga, so this is my second read through of all 34 volumes, although I have read the last 13 volumes or so 6 times, so it'll be my 7th reread of those. Yeah, Attack on Titan, how do I explain myself? I love it so much. Attack on Titan, if you're unaware, follows a civilization where the world is overrun by titans and certain groups are set forth to hence attack those titans. But that is just the first 10 volumes, because after that becomes a political struggle, a character analysis, completely something I've never experienced before. Every single plot twist hits you in a different way. Each of the characters, as a character-based reader, are written with so much eloquency and so much depth that you can analyze them for hours and still keep going. It's wonderful. Manga is simply wonderful. The creative freedom that manga artists have is just through the roof. I love Attack on Titan with my whole heart. I would encourage you to watch it. It's on Hulu and other illegal websites that I'm not encouraging you to look at, but you could if you wanted to. Please look up content and trigger warnings though before you watch it, because there are some graphic scenes. I push all of my friends to read Attack on Titan and they are just left heartbroken, and I understand that ending was just insane. Right now I've made my friend Rachel from Let Me in the Library read it, so she's like sending me updates all the time. It is wonderful. It's just wonderful. I love all your DMs that tell me that you're starting Attack on Titan or reading it. Like it makes me feel like I finally did something good in this world, you know? As I said, I will be reading manga for a secret TBR video, and just so you know, that's 4 series, so get excited for that video because it's my favorite thing that I've ever filmed. And then I'm also reading Monster, the manga. Monster is not going to be in that secret TBR video, that's why I'm telling you guys. I'm also buddy reading this from Rachel from Let Me in the Library. Monster is my second favorite anime. It is 74 episodes of pure genius. It was just a blur and masterpiece. It was an experience. So of course I had to pick up the manga after watching that beautiful show. It's extraordinary. I think anybody would enjoy it. The premise of Monster is so fascinating. It follows this doctor named Kenzo Tenma, who's a neurosurgeon who works at a hospital. He's very in the corporate landscape, trying to work his way up in the hospital. This is how the manga begins. He's one day operating on a patient, but it turns out some high elite member, like the governor or something, also needs an operation. So the board makes Dr. Kenzo Tenma stop operating on his current patient and go save the governor and everything. I'm pretending he's the governor. I really forget what he is. It's not important. Dr. Tenma successfully performs that surgery, but it turns out the patient he was operating on in the first place does not make it. Being a doctor, you have to view every life being equally important to save, whether it's a criminal or whether it's the president. Again, that is only the first 2 volumes where that happens, because after that, there is still 15 more volumes where Dr. Tenma chooses to make other decisions that result in his life going a completely opposite way. It is such a great character analysis, and you are viewing every page and every single chapter on the edge of your seat because you don't know what happens next, and especially because Dr. Tenma is such a likable hero, such a protagonist, that you can't help but hope that he survives. It is such a great analysis on human behavior, and the things that happen are just insane. I would also recommend you to watch it. Maybe this will just be an anime recommendations channel at this point. But yeah, I'm super excited to read the manga, and I am halfway through it already. Anyway, that's that. That's my June TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys to the moon and back. If you're reading anything, please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know. I'm at nidhireddyreads on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, all the social media. Alright, so that's that. Bye y'all.